Okay, everyone, we're back. Gonna post up another video. My last video talked about Porter and Spence and my opinion on that. And, my opinion on that one was that, Spence is a far more superior fighter, in my opinion. And Porter's gonna have to get scrappy and dirty, to me, just to even get a few rounds. I don't think he's got any shot at knocking him out. So really, taking nothing away from Porter because I respect him. The man is a champion, but honestly, I think he's got no shot at winning the fight. So we'll move on from there to some fights that are on the same card that night. We'll start with, I guess, Direll and Benavidez. I got a lot of respect for Direll. You take a look at his resume. I don't think it's that impressive. I mean, who has he really beaten? He beat Caleb Truex. You want to give him a solid W there for that. I'm okay with that. He lost to Badu Jack. And then when you look down his resume, other than that, other than like a Saki Obika, who he fought twice, had a draw with, and then he won the second fight between them. That's really it for his resume, it's to me, it's not that impressive. I don't know. I think Benavidez is a much younger, hungrier fighter than Direll. Benavidez, he's in there to put you to sleep. He's in there to take you down for the 10 count. And that's what he does. His resume's not that great either. He's got a win against J. Leon Love, but he's really just up and coming, and I just think that I think he's the better fighter of the two. I think he's got a good shot at putting Direll to sleep. Especially, I think he's got a little extra motivation with this little adversity that he's been facing. In this incident. So, in my opinion, I like Benavidez in that fight. I think, I think he probably knocks Direll out, and if not, I think he wins it. I think he wins the decision for sure. I just think he's a better fighter than Direll. Not to take anything away from Direll. Direll's a very good fighter, but I just think Benavidez is hungry, very hungry, at this stage of his career. And I think he wants to get up to that next level. And I think this fight would get him there. So, that's my thoughts on that. And then, excuse me. Then you got Josecito Lopez and my man John Molina Jr. I like John Molina Jr. I root for him a lot. He's like my Arturo Gatti, since, Arturo is no longer fighting and is no longer with us anymore after whatever happened down where his wife is from. I forget the country off the top of my head, but, I like John Molina Jr. He's one of them guys he could be getting beat up the whole fight and then land one punch and things completely do a 180. That's what I like about John. And both of them have, like, to me, ridiculous resumes. Josecito's been in there with Keith Thurman recently on a majority decision that was like a disputed decision. I watched the fight. I scored the fight. I mean, I had it pretty even. If they gave the fight to Josecito, I would have had no problem with it. But I had no issue with it. I thought he did enough to where he could have got a W. And I really don't have a problem with it going the other way to Keith Thurman. It's how judging goes in this sport. And you almost knew that Thurman was going to get the nod. And that's the way that goes. But as far as Lopez's resume, I mean, Andre Berto, Maidana, Canelo Alvarez, Victor Ortiz, who I respect a lot, who was a very good fighter, on the verge of being a great fighter at one time. Jesse Vargas, he's been in with. I mean, he's been in with a lot of guys, man. A lot of very, very, very good fighters. And John too. John's been in there with Omar Figueroa, Ivan Redkach, who a lot of people don't know about, but who was supposed to be like the next big up and coming thing, and John went ahead and took care of business with him. He's been in there with Terrence Crawford. He was in there with Provodnikov and beat Provodnikov in a way that nobody anticipated. I mean, John outboxed Provodnikov. People thought it was going to be this slugfest, this war, and John showed me something I mean I didn't know he had. I didn't know John could box like that. I was extremely impressed. That was a big win for John. He was also in there with Broner. He was in there with Matisse. He was in there with Mickey Bay, where he got Mickey Bay with a 12-run home run. He was getting, destroyed for 11 rounds and caught Mickey Bay in the 12th round and got the knockout. He was in there with Hank Lundy. He's been in with some pretty impressive fighters, man. No one to sneeze at, that's for sure. That is for sure. But I mean that's a tough fight to call there. I don't know. Man, that's tough. I'm not gonna lie. I root for John Molina Jr. a lot. But I probably had to give the edge to Josecito Lopez in that fight. I'm not going to say John doesn't have a shot. He certainly has a shot. John has a shot anytime he gets in the ring. I give Lopez the edge in that fight, and if I had to pick the fight, I would probably go that way. So that's how I feel about that one. You know, and then you got this, Mario Barrios against this guy. Can't pronounce his name, but Batir Akhmedov. You know, I don't know. I like Barrios. I think he's a good young fighter. I do. You know, I think he wants to get to the top a little bit too quick. You know, I know he's got Virgil Hunter in his corner. You know, one of the best in the game. But there's something about Barrios that I don't like. Excuse me there. He's got I don't know. I feel like he's got this overconfidence about him, you know? And I think it's because he's been in a lot of easy fights for him. You know, and again, I don't know a lot about his opponent. You know, he's 7-0. I mean, I know as far as world rankings, he's ranked higher than Barrios. You know, and I'm not going to sit here and lie and tell you I know a lot about him, because I don't. You know, but like I said, the one thing I don't like about Barrios is he's got this overconfidence about him that I think someone's got to knock that out of him. And I don't mean knock him out, but someone's got to take that overconfidence away from him. And I think that would help him tremendously. It really would. You know. So, I mean, that fight there, I don't know. That's a tough one for me to pick. You know. Definitely a tough one for me to pick. You know, I don't know that I want to even pick the fight. I really don't. You know. We'll see what happens. You know, Barrios is a good, young, up-and-coming fighter. And his opponent I don't know a lot about. You know, I won't sit here and lie about it. You know, we'll see what happens. But, I mean, that's a great card. And again, I'm going to pay for it. You know, like I said in my last video. I'm a sucker. I pay. I pay for the pay-per-views. I pay for it because, you know, the fighters get money out of it. And I believe any of the fighters deserve to get money. You know, any sport where if you're going in and you might not come back out, you know, I think you deserve every penny you get. And a lot of these guys, like I said in my last video, they don't get a ton of money. They don't get what a lot of the public thinks. You know, oh, these guys are fighting professionally. You know, they're professional athletes, which they are, but a lot of them are fighting for next to nothing. Next to nothing. You know, you'd be surprised what some of these guys get to get in that ring and risk their lives the whole time. But, I mean, that's it. That's about all I got for tonight. You know, I'll have another video coming up soon. So stay tuned. You know, like, subscribe, comment. You know. And I appreciate it. You know, I'm trying to get this thing going. And we're going to keep the videos coming. So stay tuned. Have a good night.